What's up guys, this is TampaTec and this is the Legends Pinball 4K. I'm going to show you how to set up your computer to the Legends Pinball 4K, and we're going to be setting up Pinball FX3. Now I'm going to leave it up to Wagners Tech Talk to show you how to set it up to Pinball FX and VPX. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the link in the video description below. I highly suggest subscribing to his channel. He has great tutorials on the Legends Pinball 4K, on the Legends Pinball HD, and the Legends Ultimate. I also highly suggest go ahead and follow Atgames on Facebook. They have Atgames, the Legends Ultimate group, and the Legends Pinball HD, and the Legends Pinball 4K groups. They're going to give you the latest updates and all the great deals that are released throughout the year.
One of the examples for the Atgames Facebook posts is these upcoming releases coming in March for the Legends Pinball 4K. And talking about deals, National Owners Day is coming up February 23rd through the 26th. Expect up to 50% off on great deals. See the link below.
Now let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you the first thing you should do is update your Legends Pinball 4K, making sure that you have the latest update and you have the latest drivers. If you guys are interested in these awesome high quality decals from Buystuff Arcades, go ahead and check out the link in the video description below. They're really easy to install. Even if you misalign it, you can actually remove it and reinstall it. It's not going to tear. And they go right over your buttons and the trackball. You do have to remove the knob on the joystick and these washers, but it's fairly easy to install. And also it goes right over this D-pad, so you don't have to remove this D-pad when you install this decal. Go into settings right here and go to number 6 of 26. All right, and then hit the start button on the front of the panel. And then right here, it's going to say update. I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button on the front of the cabinet. It looks like a play button. And then you can choose USB drive, which is probably the safest way to update your Legends Pinball 4K. Or you could choose update online. So, but if you do have a solid signal and it's not, there's no lightning storm going on currently, or you're having no issues with your power going in and out, then choose online. And you can look up here to see if you have a good Wi-Fi connection. So right here, it lets you know you have a good connection. Right down here, we're going to choose online. I already updated, but I'm just showing you how to do it because it's really important to have these drivers installed. All right, so my system is up to date. Now during the process, it's going to take like 5-10 minutes, and it will shut down your cabinet and then will reboot. So keep that in mind, and it might do that twice. So don't touch anything and don't touch any buttons. Make sure, no little kids are messing around with the controls or anything like that.
So right here is the things that Atgames fixed in the update. SSF kit, sound improvements, OTG SSF kit, integration, also minor improvements to Adam's family, and fixed magic pixel tables with the ball stutter.
After updating the Legends Pinball 4K, they did fix the ball stutter on the Magic Pixel Deluxe tables that are native on the Legends Pinball 4K. And just to show you, they look fantastic and play great. I hope Adam's family table gets the same treatment. All right, so now what we're going to do is connect the PC to the Legends Pinball. Now right back here, you notice these are all my connections. This is my Ethernet connection. Right here is my flash drive X USB drive that has to plug in all the way to the far end. And all these connections right here are from my computer. And so you want to plug in the 2.0 USB to USB cable. Plug that in right here, closest to the HDMI port. That's important because if you have this plugged in over here, it's not going to work. Make sure it's plugged in next to the HDMI ports. And then next, I have the red HDMI cable that plugs in right here. Now, preferably use 6-foot HDMI cables that are rated high speed. And then the blue HDMI cable goes to the back glass, and this yellow HDMI cable goes to the DMD. So it's going to be like that. Fairly easy. Now, this is a PC I built under $1,000. It cost, I think, around $800 and something. Wagners Tech Talk. It has a beast of a computer. It can run 4K, 60 frames per second, but I think most people will be able to afford this setup. Right here, I have a GTX 1060 graphics card, 16 gigs of RAM, i3 CPU, Intel processor, and then right here I have my 500 watt power supply, and my motherboard is MSI. It's a motherboard.
So my red HDMI cable is the Playfield HDMI that has to plug into the graphics card, not the motherboard. The USB to USB cable has to plug into a SSUSB port, not a hub. USB hubs can cause issues. And right here is the mini HD USB to 2 HDMI outputs that is going to the DMD HDMI cable and also going to the backglass HDMI port in the back of the cabinet, and plug that USB cable into the SSUSB port.
So those are all the connections that we have on the PC. So go ahead and turn on your PC, and then go ahead and hit the channel button on your cabinet. And next we're gonna go to HDMI audio preference and hit the play button, the start button right here. It's set to automatic by default. And then you wanna go back, hit the back button, which is the red button on the cabinet. And then go down to incoming and select start, play button. And it should be set to portrait mode, landscape, and landscape for the third option. And then let's go ahead and hit back. All right, so as you can see, HDMI 1, 2, and 3 say connected, but the OTG, which is the USB connection, does not say connected. It's grayed out. Don't worry, it is connected. Hopefully in the next update, that's gonna say connected as well, so people aren't confused. But yeah, just trust me, it is connected. Let's go ahead and hit start. Select start and then press the play button, and it should go right into Steam. When I booted up my PC, it should automatically open Steam. That's if you have that set up in settings. So when you download Steam, make sure you set up to boot up with your PC, and also make sure you have it start in big picture mode. We're gonna set up Pinball FX3. Now, whatever controls you configure in Steam also apply for Pinball FX and Pinball FX3. They actually share the same controls. So Steam is basically a front end, so you can play Pinball FX or download Pinball FX tables and play the tables, and use the controls as well. So it's important to have Steam installed first and configured first before even attempting to play Pinball FX or Pinball FX3. And as you can see, everything works. All the three screens are turned on. Now, using my mini keyboard, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the escape button. All right, and hit escape. Oh, it's stuck in a loop now. Figures. If that happens, just hit tab and that pulls up. And so we're gonna minimize this right now. So right here on the bottom left in the search bar, type in controller. All right, and then you see up here, it says set up USB controllers, select that. And right here, choose that top one, double tap. And then right here pulls up this interface. This is important to have if you're gonna set up Joy to Key, which is for Pinball Emporium, or if you're setting up, VPX, Visual Pinball. You're gonna need to have this set up and leave this window up when you set up your buttons. All right, so you can press the left flipper button, left nudge, and it should light up right here. The reason why I'm showing you this, because if it doesn't detect your controller, which is the Legends Pinball 4K, then you might have to check your USB connections or press the channel button and then reconnect just by pressing this channel button, and then go ahead and press start again to reconnect. So right here on desktop, you want to go ahead and right click and then go down to display settings. Display configuration should look like this, and you can click on identify to be sure. See, 1, 2, and 3. So when I move my mouse left to right, it should go just like this. Screen 1, screen 2, and then screen 3. You should be able to see that mouse. So I'm going to go past screen 1. I'm going to keep on scrolling over, and it should show up here, and it does. And if I keep on scrolling to the right, and it should appear on the DMD, and it does. Okay, so that's how it's set up in Windows. And if you need to move it for any reason, you can left click, and then you can move it around. Just like click and hold. So you want to change your size to 100%, display resolution 1920 by 1080, and then display is landscape mode, and then set up your multi-displays, extend desktop, and set that up. If you don't have your controls working, what you can do is you can restart Steam. So in Steam, using your mini keyboard, you want to hit the escape button and go to settings. Make sure you open in big picture mode. It's very important. We're going to go ahead and go to display. And I have mine set to automatically scale. That's turned on. And then over here, I have my customization. And I have wake up in big picture mode. Make sure you set that on. And then right here, controller. At first, I chose this option. It wasn't working. So I chose this option thanks to Rob, who helped me with that. And let's go right here. You scroll down. And so down here, you want to make sure you have Xbox extended drivers installed. Mine is installed. And up here, let me go ahead and reset that. It says test device inputs, but we're going to reset that so you guys can see. So if any reason this is not working right, you can actually reset device inputs and it should fix the issue, but you do have to set up all over again. So you click on HID interface, the second option, that's important, and then click on begin setup. And then now we're going to go ahead and continue with the setup. And so for A, we're going to choose forward nudge, because that looks like a select button because it has the forward arrow. And also in Pinball FX and Pinball FX3, this will be the digital plunger button. And then B is usually a red button, like back button in most games. And so we're going to choose the rewind button because it looks like a back button and it's red. And X, we're going to choose the play button, the start button right here. And then Y, we're going to skip that because we don't have enough buttons. And so I'm going to go ahead and hit the forward nudge to skip that option. And then left D-pad, we're going to choose left. And then right. And then up. And then down. And make sure when you press on the buttons, make sure they trigger on the screen. Down. There we go. And so we don't have a left joystick, so we're going to skip. Once, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you get to right joystick down, you'll see a down arrow on the right joystick. This is really important. If you want the plunger to work, you pull back on the Z axis on the plunger to trigger that. So now we have the plunger working. And then we're going to skip that. And then LB. LB is going to be right here, the white button. And then left trigger is going to be the red button. Right nudge, and then right trigger, and that red button. This is on the Xbox One controller. That is back or share. We're going to skip that, actually. And then this is an important button because if you want to go into the menu and choose a different game, then you can do that. And so we're going to go ahead and choose the Atgames button, which you see right here. And then we're going to skip and skip. And so this control panel, as of the latest update, is not supported. Hopefully the next update, they'll support this. But as of right now, we're just keeping things simple with this one. So you can see all these buttons getting highlighted on the screen. So we're just testing these buttons. So it looks like everything's working. Yeah, everything looks like it's working great. So if you want to exit out, go ahead and hold down this button, the back button. Now, if the controls still don't work, then what you can do is right here, hover over your game title and right click right here, and then go to properties, and then go to controller, and then you want to choose enable Steam input. Choose that, and it should work now. And then you can go ahead and back out of that, and everything should be functioning good in the game. Now, for any reason you lose connection and you lose controls, then you might have to exit out of Steam and re-enter Steam to reset the drivers. Another thing, if it's the Atgames drivers that are glitchy, then what you can do, then click on the channel button right here, and then it'll pull up this menu, and then just go ahead and re-enter, and it's going to reset those drivers and reconnect. So just keep in mind, if you lose connection and it's not working in the game, make sure you have Steam controller enabled, and make sure you restart Steam. And then if that doesn't work, then restart your connections on the Atgames table using the D-pad, and then go ahead and hit the forward nudge button, which is the white button on the front of the cabinet, and then hit that button again to start. Let me go ahead and turn off the lights. All right, so everything should be working 100%. Now, if your computer isn't the best computer, even if you have an Alienware Alpha, it should work because I tried it. I have an Alienware Alpha R2, and it actually played Pinball FX3, no problem, but not in 3 screen modes. So you do have to unplug the DMD HDMI cable to play Pinball FX3 on this cabinet if you have an Alienware Alpha. If you have a computer like mine, which is, it runs great 1080p 60 frames per second, then you can connect all 3 monitors, but keep in mind it's 1080p 60 frames per second. You don't want to set it up in 4K mode. So this is a HD setup for 60 hertz. That is your A button, and then hit select, and cabinet mode is right up here, and we're gonna okay, in cabinet mode you want to request a code. You just email them and make sure you follow up with that email. They'll be like, hey, send us a picture, and then you're gonna take a picture of your setup and then email that to them, and then they're gonna give you a code within 24 hours. So make sure you check your spam folder and you reply back to that email. First, I'm gonna give you the setup for a 2-screen setup if you're connecting an old PC. As you can see, orientation 270, dot matrix on, dot matrix horizontal, 2320, dot matrix vertical is 800, dot matrix horizontal size is 1120, dot matrix vertical size 280, back glass on, back glass horizontal positioning 1920, back glass vertical positioning 0, back glass horizontal size 1920, and then back glass vertical size 1080. And that's for an Alienware Alpha R2 setup where you have only 2 screens connected. So as you can see, my DMD is disconnected. I only have 2 HDMI cables connected currently, one for the back glass and one for the playfield. And the DMD is shared with the back glass. If you're interested in the back glass images, go to Wagners Tech Talk website, and he has the download link where you can download it and where to install it. It's basically drag and drop, method. It's really easy to do, and it gives you all the images for your back glass. So whatever table you choose, those images will pop up on your back glass. So this is going to be a 3-screen setup. You can actually connect an Alienware Alpha to the Legends Pinball 4K and get all 3 screens working, but the problem is it's not going to run steady at 1080p 60 FPS. I tested it, it runs 1080p 30 FPS, which is not good for pinball. Now my computer that I have right now will run in 4K 30 FPS steady, but it's more important for me to have 1080p 60 FPS. Having 60 FPS is really important when you're playing pinball because you want that ball flow motion. All right, so here's the instructions how to set it up for 3 screens. So we have the back glass, DMD, and the playfield connected. And that's only if you have a decent computer that has at least GTX 1060 card or higher. So for your 3-screen setup on Pinball FX3, that's 270 is your orientation, dot matrix is on, dot matrix horizontal 3880, dot matrix vertical 500, dot matrix horizontal size 1900, dot matrix vertical size 600, backglass repositioning on, backglass horizontal 1920, backglass vertical position 0, backglass horizontal size 1920, backglass vertical size 1080. And let's go ahead and select options, and we're going to choose this. This is your A to select. So audio, I have my physics volume all the way up and master volume in the middle. You can have this up a little higher if you choose to. Choose that. So these are my settings. These are really just a preference. You don't have to have this exactly the same as mine. Video, this is my setup. I have 1080p right here, full screen, VSync on, and then that's 4x, and then I have the reflections on, and that's on low. And ball trails I turned off, and you could turn that on. It should be fine, but if you or if your FPS is running a little low, then you can turn that feature off. Let's go ahead and go to
Interface.
Controls. So flippers, we have left trigger, right trigger, manual ball launch, we have the right joystick, auto ball launch, which is the forward nudge button, the white button on the front of the cabinet, and the rewind red button on the cabinet is the view mode, also back button. And then nudge is LB, RB, which is the white nudge buttons on the side of the cabinet. And you could turn that on or off, that doesn't matter. And then right here, wizard power, we're gonna set that up to, I think X would be fine. I believe the start button, yeah, the play button. And then right here, this is if you want to FX visuals on or off, we can make that Y. Even though there is no Y button programmed, you can use the mini keyboard to activate that on or off. And that's not something you would mess with during the gameplay anyway. So if you want your DMD bigger, it's going to be distorted. Keep that in mind. One of my favorite tables, Medieval Madness. So as you notice right here on my screen, I have the Windows bar is locked. It doesn't auto hide. I have to pay for a Windows license. All right, so we could change our view angle by hitting this button right here. And so let's go ahead and hit that forward nudge button to launch the ball. And everything is working. The nudge works too. And everything is running real smooth. Now if you want to use your wizard power, that is going to be this button right here. They'll rewind it. But you have to unlock that feature in challenge mode. Make sure the plunger works. There's a slight delay to it, but it works. For full screen DMD, this is the setup. Dot matrix repositioning on, dot matrix horizontal size 38 by 75. Dot matrix vertical positioning is 0. Dot matrix horizontal size is 1900. Dot matrix vertical size is 1100. And so those are the settings if you want it in full screen. That's for the DMD. If your haptic exciters are vibrating too much, then I'm going to show you how to lower that. So you want to hit the volume button. All right, you can adjust the main volume doing that, volume up, volume down. But if you hit the channel button real quick and hit volume, you're going to adjust the haptic exciters. So I think like maybe 40 might be good, or 45. If this video was informative, give me a big thumbs up. And if you have any questions whatsoever about the setup, go ahead and post a comment below. And if you're interested in the Legends Pinball 4K, that link will be in the video description as well. Thanks guys for watching.